What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Scarlet and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon Scarlet Hardcore Nuzlocke using only version exclusive Pokemon. So for each version of every Pokemon game there's going to be exclusive Pokemon that you can only get if you pay $60 for one game over the other instead of having one actual game. That has every single Pokemon. You actually have to go out and buy both copies if you want both Pokemon. Anyways, the tangent's over. Our challenge today is to use only version exclusives to Pokemon Scarlet, and on screen right now you see all the version exclusives available to us. Obviously there's some Paradox Pokemon that we can actually use because they're in the post game and we're not going to get that far anyway, so unfortunately we can't use any Paradox Pokemon for this challenge video. Pretty simple. It's going to be a hardcore Nuzlocke, so you can only catch one Pokemon in each route of the game. They have to pertain to being version exclusives only. They also only have one life, so if they do faint at any point they are boxed and you can't use them ever again. There's a level cap on the bottom left. That's going to be the highest level for each gym leader, and we can go in order. Even though it is an open world game, technically I'm gonna go in the order that's recommended in the lines of the gym leaders. There's no items inside a battle, and you have to play on set mode. Even though there's no set mode, you still have to play on set mode. You just have to press B once you beat a Pokemon so you don't switch out, and that should do it for all the rules. Actually, we didn't talk about my favorite rule. My favorite rule, I'm acting like I never say this in my videos, but my favorite rule, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments, so thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me that you guys support my channel, and let's get into the challenge video itself. To start off with, I try to make my characters as crazy as I can. You know, I was trying to anything out. And then from there, I can move out into the next hour and 10 minutes of just pressing A and going through the first part of the game. I didn't even have fast text on into like midway through of this. I was like, oh my god, I'm dragging this even further. But once we get through the first hour, we can go into the West Province 1 and go into this little valley area. If you find a hole on the floor and it drops down into a valley or like a ravine or something, most likely you're gonna find yourself a Charcadet. Charcadet is not a version exclusive technically, but its evolution will be, so we're gonna catch it and add it to our team, which is gonna be a nice addition. Our very first Pokemon is a fire type Pokemon, so that's pretty nice. From there we can move out into the East Province number 1 and get I tried really hard for this extra small rare candy. From there we're just gonna turn it into nighttime, which we're waiting for, and we're gonna find ourselves our next few Pokemon. Our first Pokemon just spawned on top of us, which is gonna be a Drifloon. This Drifloon does a lot of damage to me. Lucky enough I have a Great Ball to capture it, so it actually captures. I just could have just lost the challenge right there, losing my Charcadet, but we catch ourselves a Drifloon and head into the first gym leader in the game. Our first gym leader is going to be against the bug type gym leader, and it should be pretty simple since we have a full team of pretty good counters, a ghost and flying type which is resistant to bug and super effective to bug, and also our Charcadet which is a pure fire type and it's going to melt away her entire team. Nimble goes down, her Tarantula goes down, and her final Pokemon will be a Teddy Ursa. It actually misses its Fierce Swipe, which I'm very lucky it did. So I'm going to switch out into my Drifloon so it's unable to do any more damage to me, as I'm kind of scared if it did hit that Fierce Swipe. I might have lost my Charcadet that early, but my Drifloon is able to clean up and knock out the Teddy Ursa for us. And then from there, we could just speed on and face off against the second gym leader in the game. We could face off against the grass type gym leader next. We're going to start the battle off against this Petalil using my Drifloon. Now, I actually got the TM for Calm Mind, which on accident, because I was exploring around waiting for nighttime, and lucky enough I got Calm Mind added to my Drifloon, which is very early. I'm able to use a bunch of Calm Minds in front of the Petalil. I'm able to knock out the Petalil in one shot, and then he's going to switch out into his next Pokemon, which is going to be a Smoliv. I one-shot it as well, and his final Pokemon will be a Sudowoodo. I know he has a Rock type move, so I was going to just Terra Evolve into my Ghost typing, so Rock Throw doesn't do a lot of damage to me, and he actually ends up going for a Trailblaze as I lose my flying typing. He does a lot of damage to me and also ups his speed, which is unfortunate because that means he's gonna outspeed me and knock me out with a Trailblaze. Aftermath will knock him out, as if you knock out Drifloon with Aftermath with a physical move, he's gonna take some portion of your HP. So I do end up knocking out the Sudowoodo, which is actually pretty good for me. I think I would have lost if I didn't have that, but I lose Drifloon already on the second gym leader. So that's kind of unfortunate, but you know what, we have to go through it. We unfortunately have a death on a death counter already. From there we can go out and watch a tutorial. I didn't know how to get Skunky this early in the game. You're supposed to go in these grasses in, I believe, South Province number 5 in this desert grassy area, you're able to find yourselves a Stunky. I'm able to burn it and then capture it eventually. Add it to my team. We're gonna attack a bunch of Magnemites to get their drops. You get some Magnemite screws, which I kind of messed up on because I went back and tried to trade in these materials for the armor set to evolve my Chara Cadet. Unfortunately, it's Magnemite and Violet. In this game, Scarlet is Bronzor material, so I was actually messed up completely. So that was on me. I don't know what I was doing. But from there, we cleared through some Titans. We cleared through the Rock Titan to get the sprint ability and also go to Asado Desert because I want to also face off against the Bronzors here, get their materials, which is really nice. And also, we're able to catch ourselves our next Pokemon, which is going to be a Stormjourner, the big rock Pokemon that looks like it has legs. And we're going to add it to our team. It's very big in this game, surprisingly. And from there, once we get enough Bronzor material, we're able to trade it in for a mysterious armor. And we're able to evolve our Chara Cadet into an armor rogue really easily right in front of him too. From there, we're going to face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against the electric gym leader. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Storm Journal. We actually outspeed. I don't know how my rock thing outspeeded. It's super fast. I don't know what it's good at, but it's really fast. From there, she can switch out to her Bellebolt, which does have a water type move, which I'm very weak to any special attacking moves. So I decided to go out to my Stunky next. Stunky is going for Acid Sprays, and it lowers his special defense, and then he goes for a Spark and also paralyzes me. So unfortunately that happens. I decided to go for a Venoshock next, and it does not do a lot of damage at all. So I have to unfortunately sack my Stunky because I can't risk my Armor Rogue coming in and getting paralyzed through Spark. So I decided to Terra Evolve my Armor Rogue into a Fire type, and then decided to go for a Mystical Fire, knock out the Bellebolt, which is nice. Her next Pokemon will be a Luxio, which also goes down in one shot to my Mystical Fire. And then her final Pokemon will be a Mismagius that's going to Terra Evolve into an Electric type. I decided to go for, obviously, Mystical Fire. It's going to hit me with a Hex, which I survived pretty easily. I go for a Mystical Fire. It's not going to knock her out, but it's going to lower her special attack as well, which is a second added effect. She goes for a Confuse Ray, but lucky enough, I do break through it and knock out the Mismagius. And that could have went pretty bad. I mean, the gym fights are getting pretty close. No convincing wins lately. Also, accidentally pressed pause on my recording because I need to use the bathroom. But I caught myself a Larvitar before actually going back and resuming my recording. I caught my Larvitar right here. North of the third gym. We're also going to clear through the Steel Titan, which is going to give us the higher jump ability, and then from there we're going to make ourselves a Pickle Sandwich to up fire Pokemon encounters. We're going to do that in the West Province number 2, I believe. That will increase our odds. I'll try to find our next Pokemon. Our next Pokemon we're going to catch out here is going to be a Fire Tauros. Now, Tauros isn't exclusive to either game, but certain types, such as the Fire Tauros, is exclusive to Scarlet, and then the Water Tauros is exclusive to Violet. I think there's a third typing. Don't quote me on that. I feel like there's another typing out there. But from there, we're going to face off against the 4th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against the Water type gym leader, and our team is all weak to Water types. So this is not going to be an easy fight at all. So I have to come in with a game plan here. I decided to start the battle off using my Tauros against the Veluza. I lower the attack stat at the very least and then switch out into my Armor Rogue, which I'm able to Will-O-Wisp into it, lowers the attack stat even more. I go down to low HP because it crit me, and then I decide to go out into my Tauros next, lower his attack stat once again, which is a -4 now, and then I could finally go for a bunch. I don't know why I work up. I didn't get bulk up yet as a TM, so I'm using work up out of all the moves, which is unfortunately terrible. I get a bunch of workups at the very least. I'm at pretty healthy HP, which I'm able to go for a bunch of Trailblaze, which is a grass move, 1, that it could learn, and 2, it boosts my speed every time I use it. So I could boost up my speed against the Veluza, and then his next Pokemon will be a Wugtrio, which I'm able to go for Trailblaze and also knock him out in one shot pretty easily. His final Pokemon will be a Crabominable. It's very slow, but very tanky, but lucky enough, I have a bunch of workups up, and Trailblaze is super effective to him, especially since he Terra Evolves into Water type. So I'm able to one-shot him pretty easily and knock out the 4th gym leader in the game. From there, we can move out. We catch ourselves a Dino, which we can't use since he's over level, unfortunately. From there, we can start training our Pokemon out into North Province number 1, where there's a bunch of chances if you use, I think, a Ham Sandwich. We're able to finally evolve our Larvitar into a Pupitar. I know I have a Pupitar icon in my right side of my party. I just assumed I was going to evolve it, and then I was too lazy to change it back. But finally, I evolve it. And then from there, I can face off against Larry next. Larry is going to be the normal type gym leader in the game. He's going to start the battle off against us using a Kamala. I start the battle off against him using my Tauros. Tauros finally has bulk up as a move, as I'm able to just bulk up in front of the Kamala. Larry's unfortunately put me to sleep and then just crit me out of nowhere, so that's kind of annoying, but I got a bunch of workups in front of him, and then I'm able to go for a double kick. Should have went for a flame charge. I'm not too sure what I'm doing, but double kick will also knock out the dude on spars, and his final Pokemon will be a Staraptor, which I go for a Terra Evolve into my fire typing, and then I know I'm pretty sure I can survive any move since I'm also bulked up. I end up going for a double kick and just knocking out the Staraptor anyways, so we end up beating down Larry, and we get the 5th gym badge in the game. From there, we can face off against the Great Tusk, which is going to be the Earth Titan. We're going to knock him down pretty easily, and then from there, once we beat a Titan, we're able to encounter actually a Paradox Pokemon in the desert. Now, thinking back to it, I didn't realize at the time that this is actually illegal. It's cool that I could get a Paradox Pokemon that's exclusive to Scarlet only. However, I already got an encounter in the Sato Desert, so I just kind of forgot that Sato Desert was just the same place I caught a Stone Journal. That's how many times I used Stone Journal to begin with. But anyways, we caught ourselves a Great Tusk. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to use them, so don't call me a cheater. My bad, I'm sorry. I used them on accident. From there, I actually just kept pressing A and then went into the gym fight. I meant to go train after doing the gym puzzle, but unfortunately, now I'm going into the fight against Rhyme, the 6th gym leader in the game, way under the level cap. I think I'm like 3 or 4 levels under the level cap on accident, and I started the battle off against her using my Armorogue and my Tauros, which, I mean, isn't the worst thing. I obviously Terra Evolve my Armorogue to avoid getting hit with any Ghost type move from the other Pokemon, because Armorogue is part Psychic type. So I decided to go for that, and then I go for a Lava Plume. I don't know what I'm doing. I went for a Lava Plume using my Armorogue, trying to knock out everything. I burned both of them. I burned both the Mimikyu and the Bayonet somehow, and from there I get a bunch of boost up, which I'm pretty certain that it's really helping me, as I'm able to go for a Lava Plume again. Almost knocks on my Tauros, but since he's part fire type, I'm pretty sure, I was pretty confident he could survive, as I'm able to knock out the Bayonet and also the Mimikyu. From there, I'm gonna switch on my Tauros, so I don't want it to die. I switch out to my Dino next, and I was hoping it could just live one. I went for a Lava Plume in front of the Toxicity and also the Houndstone. It doesn't knock out either one of them. It actually ends up knocking out my Dino, as the Houndstone is going to go for a Phantom Force. The Toxicity went for a Hyper Voice. So I went out to my Stone Journal next. I know this thing's pretty fast, so I'm able to just go for a Side Shock against the Toxicity and then knock him out, and then survive any move the Houndstone want to use. Rock Slide to knock him out, and we end up beating Rhyme way under level. We still lose a single Pokemon, but it could have been way worse, I guess, because she could have rolled me the opposite way. But from there, we can go into, is it a Tick-T Forest? Something like that. We're to catch ourselves our final Pokemon on our team, which is going to be a Rangaroo. I did not know it spawns at this level of levels. I'm able to catch myself a Rangaroo, which I don't think is the best Pokemon, I'm not going to lie, but we're going to have to try to make it work, as we're going to face off against Tulip next. Tulip is going to be the 7th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her, ironically enough, using my fighting and ground type Great Tusk. Now, I use Great Tusk because it's actually pretty strong in just taking any hits, especially physical attacking hits. So I'm able to knock off multiple times against the Fire Giraffe, knock him out, and then her next Pokemon will be a Gardevoir, which I switch out my Great Tusk into my Rangaroo, which a Rangaroo has Calm Mind for, and it takes such a long time to just Calm Mind, rest up, until I'm fully healthy and I get a bunch of boost up with my Calm Minds against the Gardevoir. Eventually, this is the weirdest turn. She's able to get 3 special defense drops in a row, and that is just the most insane thing I've ever seen. Super annoying. I made a Shadow Ball and knock out the Gardevoir at least, but that's so annoying. Shadow Ball to also knock out the Espera, and then final Pokemon will be a Florges, which Terra Evolves into a Psychic type. I made a Shadow Ball and then 2-shot him, survive some Petal Blizzards and Moon Blasts, but I'm able to knock out the Florges. Could have went pretty bad, but we end up beating her down, and a Rangaroo actually saves the day for me, since I didn't have to risk anyone else. From there, we're going to face off against Grusha next. Grusha is going to be the 8th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Armorogue, which is a fire type. I go for a Calm Mind in front of, obviously, the Bug and Ice type Pokemon. It's obviously not going to do anything against me. So, actually, Bug Buzz did a lot to me because I forgot to Terra Evolve. But I'm going to go for a bunch of Calm Minds. Make sure it runs out of Tailwind. Knock out the Frostmount using Lava Plume. And then I learned Flamethrower. So I'm just going to add that instead of Lava Plume. I'm able to Flamethrower into the Beartick as well. Knock her out. Her next Pokemon will be a Sentient. I'm able to go for a Flamethrower. Knock that thing out as well. And then her final Pokemon will be an Altaria, which I go for a Flamethrower. I'm at half HP. It could scare me that it could outspeed me, but most likely it's not going to be able to do a lot of damage. Since I have a bunch of Calm Minds up, it doesn't do enough damage to me, as I'm able to Flamethrower and knock her out. Super simple. We get the 8th gym badge in the game, which is super nice. From there, we're going to start our training, and finally, As you can see from the Pupitar that we never used the entire game, we're able to finally evolve my Pupitar into a Tyranitar because I was just saving it, making sure it doesn't die, and then from there we're able to evolve it into a Tyranitar. It's gonna be pretty nice. We also got a TM for Dragon Dance, and then from there we're gonna move out and face off against the Elite Four next. The Elite Four is gonna be pretty easy. We're gonna start our Elite Four challenge facing off against Rika. Rika's gonna be the ground type Elite Four member. I'm gonna start the battle off against her using my Armor with Energy Ball to knock out the Whiscash, which is pretty simple. Her next Pokemon will be a Donphan, which I go out to Matoros, which I mean surprisingly not a great idea. But I'm able to just break a sturdy and switch out to my Oranguru, which I'm able to get a bunch of boost off against her, and then eventually go for a Psychic to knock her out. And then the reason why I let my Oranguru go down to low HP is because I know the Dugtrio is going to come out, and assume it's going to use Sucker Punch since it's a Dark type move. I'm obviously a Psychic type Pokemon. It's going to go for Sucker Punch. It decided to go for an Earthquake instead, as I go for a Rest, predicting the Sucker Punch, and then for some reason it did that, so I'm down my Oranguru, which is not great. I go out to my Donphan next, which is able to go for an Earthquake to knock out the Dugtrio, and another Earthquake to knock out the Camerupt. And then her final Pokemon will be a Clockstar, which I'm able to Earthquake 2 shots and knock her out, which, I mean, thinking back to it, I could have just done this the whole time instead of going out to my Oranguru and losing him for no reason, so that was kind of unfortunate. But from there, we're going to face off against Rika next. Rika is going to be the Steel type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Armor and then just immediately Terra Evolving Flamethrower into the Copperajah, knock him out. Her next Pokemon will be a Bronzong. It does not have Heat Proof. I don't know if it would survive even if it had Heat Proof. Knock out the Corviknight as well. Her next Pokemon will be a Magnezone. It sets up Light Screen, which I mean doesn't mean too much to me as I'm able to knock out the Magnezone. And the final Pokemon will be a Tinkaton. It survives a Flamethrower. I survive a Stone Edge pretty well against her, so I'm able to just stay in and knock her out with a Flamethrower. 2 Flamethrowers will knock out the Tinkaton as we're able to beat down Rika and then move off face off against Larry next. Larry is a pretty easy fight as well, as I'm able to start the battle off against him using my Armor just to go for a bunch of Calm Minds. This Tropius has Air Slash, Solar Beam, Sunny Day, and then I don't remember the last move, but it's not too useful against me as I'm able to go for a bunch of Calm Minds and then go for a Flame Charge against him, and then eventually that should be game as I'm able to knock out the Tropius. I have a bunch of Calm Minds up, and then his next Pokemon will be a Staraptor. Flamethrower to knock him out. Sends out an Oricorio. I'm able to Flamethrower. I forgot to Terra Evolve. Terra Evolve in front of the Oricorio, knock him out, and then his next Pokemon will be an Altaria. I knock him out as well, and his final Pokemon will be a Flamigo, which I'm able to go for a Flamethrower and knock him out in one shot, as we're able to sweep down Larry. Not lose any more Pokemon since the Oranguru. Pretty nice. From there, we're going to face off against Hansel next. Hansel's going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Tyranitar. Finally, I'm able to go for Dragon Dance in front of Northern. He wants to use a bunch of Super Fangs against me, which I'm able to take, obviously, since it just halves my HP. I'm able to go for 2 Dragon Dances up. I should have went for another one and thinking back to it, but I thought 2 was good enough. As I'm able to one-shot down in Northern. His next Pokemon will be a Dragolich. I'm able to Earthquake, knock him out in one shot. I'm just worried that Ice Fang might miss. I think it has a 5% chance of missing, which knowing my luck, it might happen against one of these Pokemon. But I'm able to Ice Fang, knock out the Haxorus, knock out the Flapple as well. And then his final Pokemon will be a Baxcalibur. I should have Terra Evolved. Maybe I would have survived if I Terra Evolve, but he Terra Evolves into a Dragon type, and now he's a pure Dragon type. I go for an Ice Fang. It just not knock him out. Another Dragon Dance would have knocked him out. He goes for a Brick Break, and for sure he's gonna knock me out. So Tyranitar, first battle with Tyranitar, he goes down. He did a lot of damage, obviously. I'm able to go out to Matoros, close combat, knock out the Baxcalibur. We beat down Hansel. But unfortunately, we lose our Tyranitar in this battle, in this skirmish. And that was just a shame. I don't know why I was building him up for that. From there, we're going to face off against Gita next. Gita is going to be the champion of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Armor because Armor's pretty decent against her. I decided to go for a Terra Evolving Armor Cannon, which is crazy. It's such a strong move. It actually one-shots the Espera, which is really nice for us. So Espera goes down, and she decides to test me and goes to her Avalok next, which I feel kind of insulted that she did that. So I stayed in and go for another Armor Cannon, and it obviously one-shots the Avalok, which is horribly especially defensive. I think Gita might be dumb. She then sends out her King Gambit, and if I was risking it, I might have just gone for an Armor Cannon and hope maybe it just crits and knocks her out, because she was testing my patience here. But I go out into my Tauros next. Tauros is easily able to close combat twice into her and knock her out. Does have Zen Headbutt. She's almost knocks out my Tauros, which is not good. I'm able to knock out the King Gambit. Her next Pokemon will be a Veluza. I go out into my Stone Journal. You haven't seen since the 3rd gym, so I go out into him. I go for a Body Slam. It paralyzes the Veluza and ends up knocking him out because I outspeed him now. So yeah, we end up knocking out Pokemon with my Stone Journal. She goes out into her Go-Go next. I go out into my Armorogue. I'm able to go for a bunch of Calm Minds in front of her. I go for 1 Calm Mind in front of the Go-Go, which I should have done a little more. But Flamethrower will knock out the Go-Go, and her final Pokemon will be a Glimmora. I decided I have Energy Ball because I know it's going to Terra Evolve into a Rock type, and it turns out I was right. It does Terra Evolve into a Rock type. Unfortunately, it outspeeds me as well, so yeah, it's gonna hit me pretty hard with an Earth Power. I go for a Calm Mind, assuming that I was gonna outspeed him, but she outspeeds me, and then the following turn she goes for a Terra Blast. For sure one-shot me, as it's gonna be way too strong to handle. It also crits me, so it actually didn't matter at all. So yeah, my Armorogue unfortunately goes down at the end of the game, but I'm able to go out into my Great Tusk, and Great Tusk couldn't survive any hits. I went for a Brick Break on accident. How do I outspeed him? How do I even outspeed the Glimmora using my Great Tusk? That doesn't make any sense, does it? I'm able to knock out the Glimmora, and we end up beating Gita, which is unfortunate. Anyways, from there, we're going to face off against our rival. We're going to face off against Nemona next as the final battle in the game. I'm just going to keep saying it's the final battle in the game because a bunch of people get upset when I don't face against a professor. I'm not going to go all the way there. That's too much work for me. I mean, this video took like 14 hours anyways to just find a Pokemon, train them up. I'm not going to run around Area 0 and then face off against the professor. I think that's what people want because that's the credits, I believe. Anyways, we're going to face off against Nemona. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Tauros to lower the attack stat of the Lycanroc and then go into my Stone Journal. He survives a Drill Run pretty easily, and I go for a Body Slam to paralyze him, switch out into my Tauros next, lowers the attack stat one more time, and then I can go for a bunch of bulk ups. Unfortunately, he goes for a Drill Run and actually crits me, so I'm at low HP. Luckily enough, my Tauros has a berry. She's gloating about getting a crit, but funny enough to her, she starts missing every single possible move. She missed 2 Drill Runs in a row, hits me with a Stone Edge, and I'm like, wait, and am I gonna just beat her? I go for a Flame Charge in front of her, go for 1 more bulk up, I believe. Nope, I just go for a bunch of Flame Charge because I was ready to knock her out. Flame Charge to knock out the Lycanroc. Her next Pokemon will be an Earthworm, which I'm able to close combat and knock her out. Her next Pokemon will be a Gujo at 1 shot as well. Her next Pokemon will be a Dudunsparce, which obviously gets knocked out since it's a normal type. And then her next Pokemon will be a Palnut, which I'm able to close combat as well. And then her final Pokemon will be her starter, which is a Grass type. I'm able to just go for a Flare Blitz. I didn't pay attention to the recoil damage. I'm not too sure if they even showed it, but I'm able to just one-shot her easily. My Tauros doesn't go down, and we end up beating down Nemona, even though we got unlucky with a crit. So, you know what? We take that. As we end up beating Pokemon Scarlet, Hardcore Nuzlocke using only version exclusive Pokemon. Now, would I say I cheated a little bit using the Great Tusk? Yeah, but it's kind of fun. Last Pokemon Scarlet video, I didn't get to use the Great Tusk, so unfortunately, it was a very bloody Hardcore Nuzlocke run as I get 6 deaths on the board, which is unfortunate, but we ended up beating down Pokemon Scarlet, Hardcore Nuzlocke. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. It was pretty fun to make. I'm sorry if the commentary sounds a little off. I feel very tired as I just start school again in the last week, so it's kind of tiring to go to school and make videos, but I hope you guys can forgive me for that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name's Alpha. Hope you all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.